We're going to look at the rectangular coordinate system. All right, so just as a little review, if we have ordered pair, the first number is the x, the second number is the y, and the x tells you to go left or right. Since this is a positive 2, we're going to go right 2 units, and then the y tells you to go up or down. If it's positive, we go up 3 units. And that's always from the origin when we're plotting points. So I start at the origin, I go up 2, or I go to the right 2, and then up 3. And there's my first point at 2, 3. All right, and so for this one, since it's negative, we're going to go left 4 and then up 6. So we go over to 4 and up 6. There's my second point. And then we can go left or right 0 here and then down 2.5. So there's my next point. Okay, so from the origin when we're plotting points, the x tells you left or right, the y tells you up or down. Okay, and just a little bit of vocabulary. This section of the graph up here in the upper right corner is called quadrant 1, and then we have quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. So our first point 2, 3, that was in quadrant 1. Negative 4, 6 is in quadrant 2, and then the point 0, negative 2.5 is on the y-axis. The other formula that we need to look at is the midpoint formula, and that is given here by, it's basically the halfway point, the average of the x values and the average of the y values. Okay, so we look at our points. We have an x and a y from the first point, an x and a y from the second point. So the midpoint would be, you just add up your x's, so we take our two x's and just add them up. Negative 1.8 plus 4.5, and divide that in half. Add up your y's, so negative 3 plus a negative 1 divided in half. Okay, so now negative 1 plus 4.5, that is 2.7, and negative 3 plus a negative 1 is negative 4. And then when we divide 2.7 by 2, we would get 1.35, and then negative 2. So our x value is 1.35, and our y value is negative 2. And if we look at a picture of this, we can kind of verify that that makes sense. All right, our first point was at negative 1.8, so back about here, and then negative 3. So there's our first point. And our second point is 4.5 and negative 1, so we're right about there for our second point. 4.5 and negative 1. And if we're looking at the midpoint, really halfway between those, this midpoint is at 1.35 and negative 2. So there's our midpoint.